Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Dragonheir video. I'd like to thank Dragonheir for making this channel possible. And we are going to be checking out the Vortex today. Specifically checking out the epic that you get in Season 4 for taking down Faye Meander. The freebie, who I think is going to be an absolute godsend to most people's accounts when you get this far. Now, when it comes to Season 3 and Season 4, the ice is where it's at. Ice Blast heroes do a ton of work. And I mean, I was fortunate enough on my main account to pick up the absolute god, which is Beldeli. Can't see her here. I've not leveled her out yet. Where are you? There she is. Yeah, to pick up Beldeli, who does a ton of work on my main account. She ended up being in most of my teams for most content, honestly, in terms of just sheer damage. Now, I didn't want to bring like crazy legendaries like Beldeli into this squad, but I am going to be bringing in another epic who does a similar job in terms of setting up damage, and that is here Girthin. So Girthin is known as one of the best epics in the game for the Ice Blast damage group. We're going to be putting her alongside Nudger, this new free epic. And then in terms of the rest of the team, well, obviously for Season 4, we're looking at Necrosis and Ice together, and that's a bit tougher to get decent supports in. So I figured I'd bring one of the new heroes in to take a look at Astion. We've also got here Shinna and the legendary you could all pick up for free as well if you did the events, Aladaya. So we've got 3 supports and 2 damage wielding beasts. I am on the test server, which means I've got quite a good chunk of just kind of like free stuff to use. I've just realized actually I need to pump my Psychic Ore. Let me just check what I've done so far. Just need to make sure I get my Ice Necrosis done everywhere. That's already done there. Seems like you get a ton of stuff. You don't get enough to like maximize everything on the test server. So I kind of have to be a little bit, yeah, I don't know. Maybe we're good. Maybe we're good. But you think you would just be able to just everything totally maxed. It's not that way. So obviously I get my boosts on damage and accuracy and all that type of stuff just to make this easier to do my builds. But let me show you how everyone's built. So we've got Aladaya here, good HP, a good enough amount of accuracy to land, and then Enlightenment. So in terms of her skill set, she's bringing the attack penalty across the board. She's given us this kind of like cold damage hit and the removal of enemy shields. It's kind of whatever really. But then we've got this ability here, which gives our team control, immunity, and a big old fat shield. So she's in there really as protection. We've got Shinna in here, built in a kind of like an accuracy build with some attack, with some crit rates. So we do have Ice Crystal. She's one of the Ice Blasts. So if the hero's got Ice Crystals after casting a battle skill, it will consume a stack. When granting Ice Crystals to Ice Blast allies, this hero, or the hero, sorry, will grant attack up to all Ice Blast allies. So she's really good support for Ice Blast. And yeah, she's granting us some stacks here. And then the ult, again, board wide, continuously casts a spell for 6 seconds. During this period, strikes a random enemy every half a second, dealing damage and giving us some Ice Crystal stacks for our team. So she's really good at setting up the rest of the squad. The other kind of like support here, Astion, just kind of on high HP, enough accuracy to do his job. And obviously, this guy's an absolute beast. So we've got here, as a battle starts, inflicts silence on enemies and does all this crazy stuff around HP and defense. We've then got deals necrotic damage in this line, doing stuns and reducing crit hit resistance, or sorry, increasing our crit hit resistance for our team. And then we've got the kind of main event here where we're dropping attack penalty, kind of blocking buffs, reducing speed, all of these good things, which is pretty nutty on the ult for Astion. So in terms of my 2 damage dealers then, so we've got Girthin here. She doesn't need crit capping, but she's got a decent amount of crit, high crit damage, and good attack. We've built her with the Poison of Swamp artifact, which basically is giving us healing and gains crit rate and crit damage. So we're getting sort of more crit in here. We've got the Emissary set. When releasing ults, we're gaining damage. And then I've got the set here, which basically is giving us more damage when someone's got defense penalty on. And I've got Witch's Remains on one of my supports, so that's going to make that work. So yeah, Girthin, really good setup hero. So we've got crit damage increase here from the Ice Crystals. We've got the battle skill here, which is giving us a crit bonus. So we get another 20% crit from this. And then we've got the ult, which is just doing a pile of damage. And then Naja, who's the new one here, turns a build. So I didn't have too much of the refining material on the test server. We don't actually get that much, but I've gone for the Matriarch's gem, which has given us more crit, but then also excess damage if we go above crit cap. We've got the undead group here. So when dealing a crit, 10% of the damage difference between the hero and the enemy will be converted into damage up by 20. And then we've got the same precise item here. So should be pretty sweet. And again, she is out there just throwing out the ice crystals. When possessing 3 stacks or above, unleashes additional effects. I did talk about this in my video yesterday. So she's got this kind of like cold damage here based on attack. But then she's also got the additional effects that she's going to do 4% target max HP damage as well. Super sweet skill, this one. And then we've got the ult where we're basically throwing out a Lice Lance and doing a ton of damage as well. That's giving us attack up. So Naja, really, really interesting epic that they added in for Season 4. Let's get into the fight. Don't forget, sub to the channel if you enjoy the content. Let me know the type of content you'd like to see down below, whether it's test server or either my free-to-play or my main account. And let's get into this hit. So this is my team I showed the other day. So in terms of skill timings then, so we've just got a 12-second delay on Shinna and Astion for ults. We then got the 13.5 for the 2 damage dealers. And then we've got the 21.5 for Beldeli after the boss cast his ult. And then obviously we've got the 20-second recast time. So basically we're just lining it all up so that we are dropping drop defense with Shinna before we get a damage away. We get the damage away when drop defense is out there. And then we keep things like decrease attack on the boss and shielding for our team after ults land from the boss. So let's just set this up and get into the battle. There's definitely like legendary upgrades or upgrades in general on this team. This isn't the best team I could build. What I wanted to do is to bring 2 very accessible epics alongside a solid like base of a team. That's where we're looking at here. And I'm just curious to see how the balance of damage goes between Gerthin, who we know is an absolute beast of a damage dealer, and Naja, who is coming in and saying, I want a slice of that action. I want a slice of being the top. So we're seeing some big hits coming out already, actually. And I wonder what sort of damage numbers we're going to hit. Naja's actually catching up Gerthin pretty damn quick with those spiky hits. Loving that. So between the 2 of them, they're kicking out 80% of my damage. We've got Shinna's doing some. But yeah, it's actually closing up. With every kind of few seconds, we just see that gap close. I think they're going to end up being fairly close to each other overall. But 2 absolute hitters going at it right here. I'm going to let this play through. And yeah, we'll check out the damage at the end. So we're coming to the end. 55, nearly, yeah, just over 55 mil on Vortex 4. Pretty damn solid numbers, I would say. And you know, shaping the action, we had a really good split between Gerthin and Naja. Gerthin actually does still come out on top, 43% of the damage, 24 mil. But Naja coming up with a very respectable 21 mil as well. And obviously that's built around this kind of support structure. Don't know, guys, I feel like these 2 epics are basically legendaries at this point. That's the way it feels to me. And obviously you can throw in bigger, better versions of the support units as well and get some more work done. But there you go, Season 4. It's all about Ice Blast and these kind of like crazy damage comps. I've been Hell Hades. Don't forget to sub to the channel if you enjoy the content, and I will see you in the next one.